All right, good morning, everyone. So, welcome to our first class. Here I will talking briefly about um, data analytics and the introduction to this class. Let's get started. In this week, we're going to be talking about introduction to Excel. I'm going to be introducing the Excel interface. I'm going to be talking about how you can format your tables and all, and then format data types. I'm also going to be talking about sorting and filtering. All right. I'm also going to be talking about some test functions, and then also talk about statistical functions. Right. To the next slide. Then we'll talk about what is Excel, what are the spreadsheet applications we have, what are the advantages and the use cases. All right. What is Excel? This is a blank question. What is Excel? Simple. Excel is a spreadsheet used by different end users for various tasks. It's a spreadsheet application used by different end users to perform a task, to perform different tasks. All right. So that is Excel. And going to the next slide, what are different applications we have? As described here, there are several spreadsheets available in the market space. Some are free, while others need to be paid for. The most popular and the most commonly used is Microsoft Excel. Yes, that's the most common. I think that's the first one that just came out that came around first. So I think that makes it the most common, all right, and the most popular, of course. And also, it's worth it because it does a lot of massive transformations, right? Yeah, it comes in paid versions, and the paid versions is when you are subscribing to Microsoft 365. When it comes in paid version, you are not having access to just Excel. You have access to other products like Dynamics 365, PowerPoint, a lot of it. So a lot of products that you have for that, and then you have that advantage of getting your Excel getting updated automatically. So for example, now most of us, what we have is just the free version. And in that case, sometimes it will tell you inactive, you see, activate your Excel. You're just using it for free and you cannot really collaborate with it, right? But for the paid version, and if you want to download another year, let's say you are using 2016, you want to download 2019, 2020, you have to uninstall what you have and then download again. But you get, and then download the latest. But if you are using Office 365, you get the latest version automatically. All right, it's just like your phone. Your phone just updates those apps automatically. That's it. If you are on Microsoft 365, you get updates on your Excel to the latest automatically. So that's the advantage. Of course, we have different types of sheets. Here we've stated that we have Excel, of course, which is very popular and what we have been using. Of course, we also have Excel Online. Excel Online looks like it's the one that it looks like Google Sheets where you can collaborate online. All right. Because Google Sheets allows you to, have just, for example, now you needed to download Excel for you to use it. But for Google Sheets, you don't need to download anything. Just have a Google account, Gmail account, and then go there and go online and just say Google Sheets, and then you start using it. And the advantage is if you want to collaborate with someone, let's say you want to share what you've done with someone, you don't need to send it on WhatsApp or anywhere. You just need to send the link to the person. The moment you granted that person the access, and the person is going to be able to see it. So that's one advantage. And Excel has also grown, but the Excel you have here on your system does not have that advantage. But Excel has also grown and has come up with Excel Online, which has an advantage as well to collaborate. But of course, on the long run, generally, I would still say Excel is the best, right? Because of this functionality to also do some data transformation with Power Query and Power Pivot, and even data transformations with calculations like DAX and then of course building dashboard and Excel trans, right? But we have all other ones which we have ZeroSheet, we have LibreOffice Calc, we have Cube, we have OpenOffice, we have Apple Numbers for Apple users and the rest. All right. To slide 6. This year we're talking about advantage of using spreadsheets, accurate calculations. You don't need to crack your brain to multiply or to add values or to get the average. With Excel, that becomes easier. Automate calculations. Now, you don't need to, if you've entered a particular set of value and you want to change that value, you don't need to go ahead and start the calculation again. If you change that value, your formula will have changed the outcome for you as well. You can format, you can filter and sort your data depending on maybe you want to sort highest to lowest, lowest to highest, a lot of things. You can edit, you can undo, you can error check. You can also analyze, which is very powerful when it comes to Excel. Analyze your data. All right. It allows you to analyze your data and then do a lot of massive stuffs. All right. And that's one major advantage of Excel, all right, for analytics. What are use cases? Of course, there are three people, a set of categories of people that can use this. Business users use it, non-business users, and data analysts. Of course, business users, we'll talk about that very shortly. And of course, even non-business users can also use it. And data analysis, all right? For example, those of us who are here, that's where we fall into. All right. For business uses, we have data entry and usage. So the business user wants to use Excel to enter data. You collected data and you want to enter it. All right, you can use Excel. And when you're collecting data directly yourself, we call that primary source of data collection. But when someone, let's say Raphael now sends me an Excel sheet that contains data already, and he wants me to work on it, that is secondary source because I'm not the one that collected it. Or I'm collecting data from the database, I'm getting data from, different sources, maybe from sheets, from CSV, those are secondary sources, right? So, and you can also use it to track your business sales, not to look at how you are doing. You can also use it for financial forecasting, for identifying trends. Trends, you want to look at what is the average sales, what is the latest sales, what is the average monthly sales, what is the minimum, what is the mean, and for statistical analysis, you want to look at regression, you want to look at what's it called now? Statistics, your variance, your standard deviation, these are statistical analysis, probability. Excel can also do this for you, so which makes it a very, very useful tool. Non-business users also use this for expenses. For example, for personal expenses, you can also use Excel. Also budgeting, for recipe library, fitness tracking, a lot of things you can use it. Instead of just writing, the world is gone past where you have to always hold pen. Although our nation is not in that case yet, but we should buy that. Just do with paper, just in your system, type this thing, save it. It is saved, right? And then you can access it anytime, anytime. But with your paperwork, you can get missing about, right? And for a data analyst, this is what you are going to be using Excel for, to collect data. Like I told us, two types of data collection is either primary source or secondary source, right? Primary source meaning you are the one interfacing with the user. Let me not say user now, with the person you want to collect data from. And if the secondary, it means the data is already available, you just want to work on it. And then you also use Excel for cleaning data. Data might not be cleaned. There might be missing values, there might be errors in entering, there might be name errors that you can correct. This is data cleaning. And by data analysis, this is where you spend most of your time in cleaning data. It takes about 60 to 70% of your time because without a clean data, you won't be getting, it will affect your results. All right, very, very important. Then, of course, for analyzing data, the data you've cleaned, you can analyze it with Excel. Very powerful tool. All right. Then you visualize your data. So creating charts, bar chart, line charts, a lot of them, you use Excel for that. All right. Yeah. So in this class, very shortly, I'm just going to the to Excel interface now, where you see the ribbons, the menus, and then I'll be taking you through some of these menus. All right. And then we'll proceed to how you can to fill, formatting data, the data types, editing data, and all. And then, of course, we also talk about how you can filter, you can sort, you can do advanced filtering at the next. So these are some of the things we'll be discussing very shortly. Please stay tuned. All right, I'm just going to share my screen again, and then we'll go to the Excel interface. All right, so now you can see this. This is the Excel interface, and here you have different tabs that I've created. The data set we are going to be using for this class, and then the different sheets to also explain some of what we have to do. All right, let's get started. Yeah, this data set, we just go to Excel interface. So in this Excel interface, I'll explain a few things. So what you should know and the meaning, right? Formula bar. So when I tell you, okay, please go to the formula bar, what that means is I'm expecting you to go to this place where you have this. You can see where my cursor is. This is the formula bar. All right, you can see FX between it. All right. So you can click this to enter, just to ensure it's correct. So this is what we call formula bar. And then name ranges. This is where you are able to give your table a name, right? Name ranges is where you are able to give your table a name, and that is it here, right? Here I can decide to give my table a name. If I have this table, for example, I can highlight. How do you highlight? You either click on it and press Control A, or you just left click and then drag till you read the end. All right. Or you can also do some other stylize by saying Shift Control to the left, Shift Control down arrow. And do that again, Shift Control, right arrow, Shift Control down arrow. You are not taking your hand off Shift and Control. It's being pressed down. All right. This is one way you can highlight, and then if I want to name this table, I can come here after highlighting and come to this name ranges I told you, say first class, first sessions, okay? I'll just say first and then underscore class. The only rule here is when you are naming a table, ensure that there is no space, right? You don't name a table with a space. It's either you use an hyphen underscore or something. Don't put space. So you can see the name of my table is here, and I can see it. All right, that's one. And then we have tabs. So this is where you navigate through all functions we can perform in Excel. All right, when we say tabs, these are tabs. You can see Home tab, Insert tab, please 1 minute. All right, Home tab, Insert tab, Page layout, Formulas, Data, Review. All right. View, Automate, Help, Pivot. So this is what we call tabs, right? This is what we call tabs in Excel. Home, File, Home, Insert, Page layout. And inside them, you see what we call the ribbons and then the sub tabs. Here is your cuts. So this is for your copy. This is for you to format Painter. This is where you can change the lettering. This is where you can change the size. This is where you can bold. This is where you can italicize. This is where you can underline. This is where you can change the field color. We'll talk about that quickly. Font color. This is where you can add border. This is where you can align top, left, right, merge. You can merge here. This is where you can wrap and unwrap. This is where you have the data type. All these are under the Home tab. This is where you have the conditional formatting. This is where you have to format the table, wherever how you want it. We'll talk about that. And then you analyze your data. All right, under insert, this is where you can insert is for you to insert table. You want to insert line, pictures. You want to bring in pictures from your system. You want to even connect to other tool. All right. You want to insert charts. This is where you do that. Map, pivot charts, 3D maps, spark lines, filters. You want to insert links and all. This is where you come. Then page layout is where you set your margin. You want to pick A4 paper, for size, A4 paper, letter, A3 statement, different types of papers. Then your orientation, do you want it portrait or landscape? How do you want your page to be? Especially if you are printing it out from the system. And here, this is where you get to set the margins before it starts, all right? This is where you can also set the width of your cell. All right, this is a cell. All right, we'll talk about that very shortly. This is a cell, and you can set the width, you can set the height, how long you. So if I this is automatic currently, I can set the width, I can set the height, I can scale it up. This is, you get, so you can bring backward. This is when you have a picture, you want to bring it to the front, you want to bring it to the back. This is where you do all that. And then formulas, here is where you see all the formulas. All right, financial formulas, test formulas. You click down, you see them, date and time formulas, math and trick formulas, lookup and references. Also, instead of naming your team from here, you can also name from here, from name manager here. You click here, you're able to see different names. You can see the names you gave it first, which is the first class. All right. All right, you can define the name, you can use a formula, you can create from selections. So these are massive things you can do with Excel, right? All right. So yeah, then you can also trace precedents, remove arrows, a lot of stuff you can also do. And under data, this is where you can connect to Power Query. I will talk about Power Query next week. This is very powerful tool. Power Query is a powerful tool for you to clean your data. Don't worry, we'll talk about that. Under data is where you can also, under data, please note all these things because these are so that you know where to go. Under data is where you see sort, you see filter, you see test to column, you see how you can, remove duplicates, how you can also clash fill, how you can perform data validation, and some other what if analytics. And then under review, you're able to spell check, you're able to protect your sheets, to protect your workbook and the rest, right? And then under view, this is where you can talk about, you come to the show, you can remove big lines, meaning there won't be lines. You can see that there's no longer line in data. If I uncheck it again, now there is small lines, you can freeze some panes to say, I want to freeze this first line and come here and say freeze stop row. All right. Yeah. Now you see that this first row, which contains what you should know and meaning, is no longer going down with my data, right? If I unfreeze now, you see that as I'm going down, you can see that you cannot see the first row again. So freeze row is to ensure that maybe you want to continually see the top row so that you are able to navigate. If you are going down a lot of data, right, you don't need to be confused of what is that cell talking about. Okay, you know that, okay, this is talking about this particular heading, right? So it's very, very helpful. And then this is where you automate things. Automating, there is a way you can also automate in Excel using macros, right? Macros is to automate in Excel. Then you want to seek for help, you can come here, you can contact support, community, Excel blog to check for issues you're having. And then here you also have the Power Pivot. This is where you connect to your data model, all right? As I said, those are for tabs, all right? These are your tabs, file, home, insert, and then the rest. Now, for workbooks, what are workbooks? A workbook is a file that contains multiple sheets. So this sheet that I opened for you now, analytics training, you also have it in your drive, training week 1. It's a workbook, right? Anything you can come to the folder like this and see, these are what? Excel workbook. This is Excel workbook, all right? All these are Excel workbooks, right? All right. Yeah, so those are Excel workbooks, right? And then we have what we call sheets, right? What is a sheet? A sheet is contained in a workbook. So every of what you are seeing here, data sets, Excel interface, formatting and data type, sorting and filtering, test functions, statistical functions, these are sheets. You can create a lot of them, but you can add more by just pressing this plus sign here. All right, then you can change the name by just double tapping on the sheet, and then you write whatever you want to. And you can also delete by just like clicking and saying delete. All right. So these are what we call wobbles. And you can also navigate. If I'm at the end now, I can go back to the beginning by just clicking on this arrow here, and then it takes me to the beginning. All right, on my sheet. So that is that about that. And yeah, what you have here, each of these is what we call a cell. This is a cell. So when I put my cursor here, it means I'm in cell C, under column C, under row 1. So this is what cell, this is cell C1, C1, because it's under column C and then row 1. If I put it here, it means I'm under column E, I'm under row 11. So I will say this is cell C11. Sorry, E11. You can also see that from your name ranges, you can see that it's writing what? Cell E11. So to just also help you to understand what we are saying, you can see this cell E11 in your name ranges there. So this is why you need to understand this. So when I say a cell, okay, go to cell D10, you should know where you should go to. Then there are some commands I want us to also know, which are the shift control up and down arrow. So what we are saying here is if I want to highlight a range of cells from top to bottom and vice versa. So let's say I want to highlight this place to this place, for example, I don't need to click on my mouse and then drag down like this. All right. I don't need to do that. All right. There's a shortcut that I can use, which is what? Shift control up and down arrow. So what we mean by is you press your shift and you press the control T together, press it down, you are not removing your hand, then you use your down arrow to just click. Then automatically to help you highlight the row from top to bottom. All right. That was what I mean by that. If I change, if I want to highlight this place now, row ID all the rows like this, instead of dragging with my system, I can as well just say, click on this first one, and then I will press Shift Control, or my arrow key. Now, you know my arrow key has 4 directions. I will just press the right arrow, and it will do that for me. All right. And if I want to highlight everything, I can also say, click on the first one, and then say Control A. So Control A is to highlight all the data in your table, which is what I've just done now. Now, if I'm somewhere, anywhere, and I don't know how to, maybe I'm somewhere here where there's no data, I've just scrolled down my sheet. I'm on cell C, I'm in row 637. I've been fired away. If I want to go back to the beginning, which is A1. A1 is the beginning of this. I can just press Ctrl on my key on my keyboard and then press the home button on my keyboard. Ctrl key down, home button. You can see it has taken me back to the beginning. Control key, and that's what I'm saying here. Takes you to the first cell. It takes you to the first cell. Remember that the first cell here is what? A1. You can see it from here, or this is it here, A1. All right. If I want to go to the end, let's say I have a table like this, and I want to go to the end of that table, I can say Control what? Ends. So Control End takes me, you can see this is where we have the last, word. And that is why it's taking us to this place when we said Control End, a Control End. So there's an end key on your keyboard. Press your Control key down and you press that. All right. Going forward, we also have Shift plus N key. This is used to highlight the content of cells from anywhere in to the end. So what we are saying here is that, let's say I want to, let's say here now I have what we call first name, right? This is what we call first name, and I want to change this first to maybe second or something. All right, I can if you say this is very long, all right, I don't need to right click and then start dragging with my mouse. All right, all I need to do is I can press where I want to highlight. I will just press Shift and then I will press Home key. Right, Shift Home key on my system. This, remember what we were using before is what? Shift Control Home key. So Shift Control left arrow to highlight. But if I want to change the content of my data, this is first name now. What I've written, I want to change the content. I can press where I want to start, Shift Control key down, then I'll press Home key. And if I need it to the end, I'll say Shift, then End key, so that it highlights, and then I can change anything I want to change now. All right, I'm not changing anything. All right, these are shortcuts that will also help you to analyze your data fast. All right, a lot of use cases. For some of these things, we might discuss them on Saturday, right? And then I think it's also very important for you to know what we refer to as records and what we refer to as what fields. In data, we refer to each row as what record. So if I want to talk about this table, for example, I will say this, how many, if someone asks me that how many records does this table have, I will say it has 5 records. Why? Because this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, and 5, right? So this table has 5 records, right? So meaning it has 5 rows. That's what it means. And then if I say how many fields does this data have, fields also means column, right? I'll say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, this table has 6 columns, which is also the same as saying that 6. So I think it's very important for us to also get used to that terminology so that we are not confused. So field means columns and records means rows. All right, moving away from there, I hope we gain something from there. Moving away from there, we're going to be talking about how we can format our data and then change data type. So there are a few questions there which I'm going to be touching very briefly. All right, and we'll look at it very shortly. Formatting task, right? Let's look at these questions. Make the headers bold and give it a blue font color. So this is how you format your table, right? If I want to make these headers bold and give it a blue font color, I can do that. All I need to do is, this is the header, right? Now, I want to do something which is to ensure that I create equal spaces between my data. I'll come to this rectangle here, click on it, and then double tap on any of these lines. Let me repeat that. I'll come to this angle here, click on it, and then double tap when I see this 4-edged arrow, double tap it, and then achieve what I needed to achieve. All right. Now, I want to make the header bold. So all I need to do is come here, highlight it. Remember how we can highlight very fast. Click on this, Shift Control to the end. All right. That's one way. Then I can come here and say B, or I can say Control B. All right. That's how I can bold. I've done the first one. Then give it a blue font color. So this A is where you give font color. You can see font color, and this is what we call field color. Font color means the letters is what you want to give color, and then field color means the cell is what you want to fill the color. So if I want to give this blue color now, I will highlight and then come here. This is font. The question says font, so it says blue color. I'll just come here and then give it blue. You can see now that the color has changed from black to what? To blue. Now, the next question says make the background black. All right. If I'm to make this background black, remember I told you use field color to make backgrounds, right? Come here and then change it to what? Black. All right. You can see the background is now black. The next question says make the background of ages less than 25 red. Now, this is what we call what this question here is saying is now that it says the background anywhere the age is less than 25, read it again, make the background of ages less than what? 25 red. Anywhere the ages is less than 25, make the background what? Red. Now, to achieve this, instead of having to go for where the ages is 25, is less than 25, you now look for less than 25. Okay, this is not less than 25. This is less than 25. Is there another one? No. Instead of now scanning through and doing that stress, all you need to do is come to your own, as I've told us, and then come to conditional formatting. All you need to do is just highlight this. Remember how to highlight. Either you use your Shift Control down arrow, or you just use your mouse to highlight. Anyone that works for you, right? Now, If I highlight, I can come to conditional formatting. I want to give those ages that is less than 25. I want to give them the background color red. So I'll come here, and there are two rules. You can see highlight cell rules, top to bottom rules. All right. In this case, I'm trying to highlight where the age is what less than 25. So I will just pick highlight cells rules and I'll come to less than. There are different rules there. You can see top to bottom rules. You want to do top 10%, bottom 10%, and all data bars and all. So I'm doing this because this is under highlight cells rules where I can see is where I can see the less than. So I'll just click on less than and then come here and say okay. Format says that is less than what 25. So it's telling me what I need to do. Format cells that are less than 25. Now it will tell me what I want to do. I want to light red with dark red text. I can custom my format. Since what I'm looking for is here, and it's background I want to give red. So I'll just say red field, right? Then just say red field. And then I will say, okay. What can you notice? The dollar has changed to red. Give the country from USA blue font. Give the country from USA blue font. Now, meaning anywhere I see USA, I should give them what? Blue font. So I can also use conditional formatting and say, here too, I can just say when the text contains, or when because I'm just going to say when the text that contains. So any text that contains USA, that's what I want to do. And then I want to give it which font? Blue font, right? So there's also blue here. If there's no blue, you can custom it and come to font, fill, and then I can pick blue. All right, and then say okay. You can see that's changed to blue, and then okay. Right now it's blue. Then the next, highlight the duplicate records, right? Highlight the duplicate records. So let's say I want to highlight duplicate records from the gender. Yeah. So what is duplicate here? You can see that we have a lot of duplicates. I will just come here and then come to highlight cells and then come to duplicate values. I can choose the color I want to highlight the duplicate records. In this case, I want to just highlight it maybe green or something. All right, we'll see. Okay. Look at what is happening. It's highlighting everything as what? As duplicate. Why? Because everything is duplicated. Female as female. This female, this is male, this is still male. So if that is done for another column, it will give a different expression, right? Then the next question says, it should be highlight the top 5 records by ID. So the top 5 records by ID, right? I'm just going to come here. And highlight it, and then come to conditional formatting, then you come to top. Now you can see top 10%. So I can come with top 10, but I'm not doing top 10. I'm doing what? Top 5. I will change the value here to what? Top 5. And he said I should highlight it. So I'm just going to give it any color I want. So I want to give it, let's say yellow, for example. Then I'll say, okay. Look at it now. If you look at it very well, you see that these are the top 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it has automatically helped me highlight the top 5 in general without any stress. All right, let's go ahead. Add border to the table. So let's say I have this table. All right, and I want to add border. Very easy. All right. All I need to do is, like I said, remember you want to highlight everything, you say Control A, right? And then this is where you get border. There are different borders. Bottom border, meaning if I want to just add to the bottom, top border, left border. What I'm doing is adding border to the what? To the table. If I click on this, do you notice what is happening? It now has border. To see it very well, remember I told you can come to view and come to show, and then click this so that you can see that border, there is now border in this table. All right, that's one way. Now let's start. That's that about that. Let's look at the next question. Add dashing borders to the inside of the cell and bold border to the outside. What that is saying is that inside of this, it should be what? Dashes, dashing border, like that dash borders. And outside should be what? Bold borders, right? So this is another way you can also add borders. So let's quickly do that. I'm just going to highlight. I'm going to highlight this and then right click. So sorry, then come to home and then come to more borders, right? Now, under more borders, I'll be able to now, this is the sample. So what I want to do is for inside, I want to give it, you can see for inside, I have picked, the first thing I did was to pick the kind of border I want, but I want it just inside. I'll click on it, just put your cursor and then click on it. Remove this. If you want to remove this, click on it. This is where I need it, inside. Then I can go back and pick the normal one and say, for this side, for this side, for this side, and for this side, I need it border. So I've done that now automatically. And now, wow, you can see that inside now has broken border and outside has thick border. So this is one other way you can format. This can be because of a lot of things you want to do with your data. All right. Format table to align to the center. All right. Another task might be for you to format your table and align it, all right, to the center. So now these are left aligned. So I'm just going to remove the border for now, and then yeah. So these are left aligned. I can now highlight it. Come here, you can see center your content. I can just click on it. What do you see? You can see that all the data has now come to the center. All right, that's a center alignment. All right, wrap longer text to ensure they don't go beyond limit. So let's say, for example, this cell here has a long list of text, maybe a comment or a review from the customer, and I want to be able to see everything. All I need to do is come to this AB button here and say wrap text. So doing that allows you to allows you to be able to see all the content of your data, right? Very helpful. Then give the table a title and merge it from cell A to A. Give your table a title and merge it. So now, for example, this table does not have a title. Remember, how can I ensure? I can make sure that everything is showing properly and the cells are equally distributed. I said you come to this end here, click on it, and then double click on any of the tabs. So everything is equally distributed now. Now, I want to give it a title. I'm just going to say, okay, I'm going to shift this table down, Control C, and then or Control X to cut, and then Control V. So what I will need us now, as one of our assignments, I will drop it, is to give me at least 30 shortcuts in Excel, right? Yeah. Now I want to give you a title here. My title will be my first table. Right, that's my title. But the question is now saying I should merge from this column A to H as one. So how do I do that? All I need to do is to come to this sign here and then merge. But if I don't see if I'm not clear, I can also do a lot of things. You can see merge and centralize, merge across, merge set. So I just want to merge and centralize. You can see what has happened. It has merged this. Now this is now one cell instead of what we have it as different cells before. It's now merged. If I like, I can decide to format to make things nice. So now this is how you merge your table. Then increase the font to 12 and change change to times 3 normal. So what we are saying is that to this table, I want to highlight it and increase the text, increase the size. All I need to do, remember on your own, this is where you can increase the size. I'm going to increase it to 12, all right, and then change the font to Times New Roman. If I can't see it here, I can also click on this, Control A, and then type times so that it will bring it up, and then I will hit enter. Now I've successfully been able to what? Change the font of my table, all right, to Times New Roman, and then increase it to what? 12. These are a lot of things you can do with Excel, and very powerful. Now, one other thing I also want to talk about before we end this video, and then wait for the next, is data types, right? We have to change data type of different columns. Now, for example, this question is saying change data type of date column to short date. Now, this is the date column. So the task is saying I should change data type to short date. Now, to change data type is under home, and then come to number, right? Under number, click on this general, and here you'll be able to see different data types. The task is to change it to what? Short date. I can change to long date, I can change to time, percentage, depending on the data type. So data type is the type of data. When it is text, it is either it is general or text. Date is short date. So I'm just going to change that, and that has been done automatically after clicking. All right, it's saying change the data type of first name and last name to text, right? I can just highlight. You can see this black arrow you want to highlight together. Just highlight and then drag it to highlight. Or remember how you can also do that. Your shift to move one by one with your left arrow, right? And then shift control down arrow takes you to the end, right? Shift control down arrow. All right. Then I also said with this, you can now perform the task. It says change the data type to what? To text. So you come to number under home, come to numbers, and then come to general, and then change data type to what? To text. Just click on text. Instantly, just change the data type for me. All right. This will be the end of our first video for week 1. We're going to be having 2 videos. All right. I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you. See you in the next class.